Jake Paul is set to fight Nate Diaz on August 5th, 2023 in Texas. While Jake Paul has been highly criticized for ducking the KSI fight, which is the most hyped up YouTube boxing match of all time, he has turned back to his old ways of fighting retired MMA fighters. So why is this the case? Could it be because Jake Paul is scared to lose for a second time in a row? Or did Paul make the smart decision by getting more experience under his belt before challenging Tommy Fury again for a second bout? The reason why Paul is fighting Diaz is very simple. He has already taken the sport of boxing to the next level, and now this fight presents him the opportunity to take the sport of MMA to the next level by fighting Diaz in the octagon next.
I offered Nate Diaz a 2-fight deal. First, we box. Then 6 months later, we fight MMA in the PFL Smart Cage and lay it all on the line.
So I'd say Jake Paul has made a very smart decision, and in this video, we shall now explore 5 reasons why Jake Paul will destroy Nate Diaz. First of all, when it comes to experience, that easily goes to Jake Paul. While Diaz has been in combat sports for over a decade, he has never purely boxed. So in his boxing debut match against Paul, he will be the underdog, as many fans won't expect him to win against someone who's been boxing for over 5 years now. However, this is what brings the surprise element, as we don't really know what to expect from Nate Diaz. He may just shock the world with his boxing skills and outwork Jake Paul, but we will definitely find out come fight night. Another thing we got to consider is their fighting styles. Jake Paul is an orthodox fighter who remains extremely composed in high-pressure situations, which has done him well so far. On the other hand, we have Nate Diaz, who is a southpaw stance fighter, and his style is quite awkward, which makes it difficult to predict what he'll throw next. This could pose a challenge to Jake Paul, as Paul has never fought anyone like Nate Diaz. Also, Diaz is arguably one of the toughest UFC fighters of all time. He can definitely take a punch, withstand punishment from his opponent, and still somehow find a way to overcome adversity and win the match. However, Jake Paul has proven to be great at analyzing his opponent's weaknesses and adjust his tactics accordingly, showcasing a growing boxing IQ. This fight style, combined with a well-thought-out strategy from Jake Paul, will present a significant challenge for Diaz despite his awkward fighting style. Moving on to the next point, reach and footwork. Jake Paul, being the bigger opponent, has the longer reach, which will be very useful in keeping Nate Diaz at a distance, so he can land his combination punches and outbox Diaz. As Paul is used to the sport of boxing, he will remain very composed throughout and find a way to eventually land his right hand, which has so far knocked out every MMA fighter he's fought so far. This is something Diaz needs to be wary of, as he'll need to keep moving on his feet to prevent himself from being an easy target. He'll also need to find a way to get on the inside and land his punches to throw Paul off guard. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, be sure to let me know by subscribing so we can deliver you more boxing content every week. But back on track, Jake Paul is only 26 years old and has already accomplished so much in the sport of boxing, which is commendable. But Nate Diaz is nearing 40 years of age, and age most definitely impacts your agility and ability to tolerate a punch, especially as this will be his first ever boxing match. Let's look at the likes of Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley. They were most certainly great in the prime, but with older age, they were unable to withstand Jake Paul's right hand. So in my opinion, while Diaz is known to be very tough, his age could impact on how well he performs in this fight, and this could very well be a one-sided fight. But in combat sports, anything can happen, and Diaz's ability to move forward despite being hurt may pose a challenge to Jake Paul. Lastly, we must mention the most crucial factor in this fight, Jake Paul's killer instinct. Jake Paul puts it all on the line each fight and puts himself in a situation where he just can't lose, because if he does, his reputation and credibility as a boxer won't be good. So far, this has worked out well for Jake Paul, and when you put it all on the line, there's that killer instinct that kicks in, which gives Paul the upper hand in each fight. When we look at both fighters, Paul is the one who has more to lose, so this will definitely help him in bringing out the best version of himself. Diaz, on the other hand, is new to boxing, so if he loses, his reputation will be unfazed, and he can just go back to the sport of MMA where he's good at. So this killer instinct factor will definitely benefit Paul come fight night. In conclusion, this fight will be very different to Jake Paul's previous fights, as Nate Diaz's toughness, durability, and awkward fighting style will benefit him and make this Paul's toughest boxing match yet against an MMA fighter. However, Paul's attributes cannot be overlooked, such as his youth, experience, and killer instinct factor. So I'd say, while this fight will be very tough, I'm sure that on August 5th we'll see the best version yet of Jake Paul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the 5 reasons why Jake Paul will destroy Nate Diaz. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so we can deliver you more weekly boxing content. Also, be sure to check out our fight breakdown and prediction video next. Until then, I'll see you all in the next one.